at the National Innovators Initiative Open House and Info Session 4, as you look at your screen, for the Young Fellows Innovator-In-Residence program. We invite you now to begin this open house by directing your attention at the screen. No? I am sharing the screen. The screen you should be looking at is the Young Fellows Innovator-In-Residence program. If you're ready, as you follow the screen, ask yourself these 3 questions. Tatlong tanong po. Okay? What jumps out at me and really grabs my attention? As we later on, I'll scroll down. No? So as I'm scrolling down, as we're watching the screen, what jumps out at me and really grabs my attention? Number 2, what really excites me because it is so me? And number 3, maybe the most exciting question, what scares me or gives me self-doubt? Okay, those 3 questions. Now, there are no right answers, of course, only honest answers. We invite you to observe yourself. Don't judge yourself. And as you ask yourself these 3 questions, slow down your breathing. Let us slow down our breathing. Let us embrace the silence. Embrace who you are and what you are feeling right now. As we follow the screen together, slow down and take each highlight. Don't read ahead, no? Just follow me, I will highlight. Give your truth time and space. If we go back to the 3 questions, they are all about feelings. Your raw, honest feelings. Who are you right here, right now? Again, the 3 questions are, as I will begin to scroll down, what jumps out at me and really grabs my attention? Number 1. Number 2, what really excites me because it's so me? And number 3, what scares me or gives me self-doubt? If you're ready, let us open the house. Watch the highlights on screen. Again, embrace the silence, no? Tune in to what you're feeling. Okay, at this point, I would like to pause here and we'll do a poll, no? If you could please cast your vote. How do we do the poll? How do we, Jack, could you give instructions where they will find the poll?
Yeah, it should be the button labeled activities. The the icon with the triangle, square, and circle.
Okay, icon with the triangle, square, and circle. There's a poll there.
Lower right corner of your screen.
Lower right-hand corner of your screen. click on polls. And what excites you the most from just the following the screen and reading about? Is it launching high impact ventures? Is it mastering the superpower 6? Rising to the rarest levels? You can still see my screen, no? Living life's supreme lessons. This is all anonymous, so you could please place your votes there. Okay. Are we able to screencast the results? You could actually probably see it yourself now after you vote. Okay. So by far, it's about living life's supreme lesson. And boy, am I excited that you're the most excited about that, no? Living life's supreme lesson, which is to live your deepest truth and so fulfill your highest potential and your greatest promise for lifelong joy, meaning, success, and impact. Even though this is about innovation, though this is about college also, this is really what we're going to be talking about, and this is what you're going to be experiencing this afternoon. Thank you to all of you who participated in the poll. Okay, let's get on with our activity. So we're going to be together for the next 53 minutes. No, it's 2:37 up to 3:30, and then a Q&A. I will just show our itinerary. So it's a 60-minute journey, today's itinerary. We will begin with a 90-second test, quote unquote. Don't worry, you did not to study for this test. Test is about who is this for, this program, no? And then we'll go into the program goals. Why are we here? An overview of the program experience and timeline. So how are we going to achieve those goals? We'll go into a short panel discussion where we can hear other voices. And then we'll take the 90-second test version 2.0. And then we'll tell you how you get started. And then after the hour, if you want to stay on for Q&A, we'll be here. Okay? So with that said, let us proceed to the 90-second test. You're seeing my screen. By the way, before we go into the 90-second test, we should acknowledge who is here. Okay, so first and foremost, I should introduce myself. I am Andre Yap. I am the founder and CEO of Ignite House of Innovation. If you want to see a little bit of what that is, you can follow me on screen, no? So Ignite is, I have personally started more than 30 companies, products, solutions, until I stopped counting a few years ago, no? So Ignite House, my company, is into all things innovation, no? So from investing in startups to co-investing in innovations with big corporations, all the way to running and building programs that enable innovation in various sectors of society, in partnership with businesses, with corporations, with government, with NGOs, and lately with the academy, with schools. No? So we're everything about innovation. That's what we are. No? If you follow my screen, our latest innovation is the National Innovators Initiative, the goal of which is to empower 100,000 Filipino innovators, 100,000 Filipino careers, 100,000 Filipino success stories. No, we need this in the Philippines. And basically the way we do that is we run accelerators. We have business accelerators, workforce accelerators, career and OJT accelerators, local government accelerators, etc. So you can look at the Young Fellows program as a special kind of accelerator for high school students. No? So that's me. Who else is here? Well, we have the fellows who've come before us. You're following my screen. Later on, we will share with you a short film about what we call a short film about a lifelong journey. No? It's our road to 100,000 Filipino innovators. And some of them are here with us today. Let's see. Joanna is here. She will share with us a few of her stories later on. This is one of our most valued partners. He's the chairman and CEO, Jojo Concepcion, of a 60-year-old company whose brands are in millions of homes. He is a senior fellow in our National Innovators Initiative. Isa is in Baguio today, is unable to join us. That's Jojo Malolos from Gokongwei Ventures. Elaine is not with us. Je is with us today. He's a fresh grad. When he came into the whole Ni2 Ignite, and you will hear from him how it has transformed his whole way of thinking and doing. No? So a few more things. Who else is with us today? Danny is with us today. You'll hear from her as well. That's a few of the characters we have. Who else is here today? Today is done in partnership with CAMP. No, it's the College Admissions Mentors for Peers in the Philippines. CAMP. No, so if you can hear me, the president of CAMP is with us today, Dominique Trinidad. Dominique, can you say hi? She's coming to us from the United Kingdom, where she is in college. Hi, good morning,
Hello.
Dominique. Thanks for
Morning.
joining.
Oh, good afternoon.
Anong oras na dyan, Dominique?
It's 7:42 a.m.
Okay, so later on during the panel views, we'll bring in Dominique to represent CAMP, and we can talk more. We can learn more about how the Fellows program will partner and collaborate with CAMP in order to give you a 1-2 punch to increase your chances of getting into universities abroad and getting scholarships for universities abroad. We'll see you again later on, Dominique. Thanks for being here again. Who else is here? Well, most of all, we have our high school students, no? So when we invited you here, we said, you know these 13 to 18-year-olds, some of them have their eyes set on Harvard, on Oxford, and some of the world's most prestigious universities. And some of them, maybe they're not the scholastic studious type, no, but they would still greatly benefit from going to universities abroad in a multicultural setting, no? That I have 3 degrees from the US, no? All told. And I have to confess to you that I started out in the second camp. Yung bang medyo kalat, but I had great potential and I had great promise. And my experience studying abroad really changed the course of my life and the way I do things now. So welcome to both sides. We have, of course, Filipinos joining us from all over the country. Magandang hapon to all of you. Maayong buntag. And I will stop there. But if any of you, now's a good time to throw in your hello, highs and hellos, maybe in your own dialect. Tell us where you're from through the chat box. Hello to everybody again. So again, let's go to our back to our itinerary, and it's time for segment number 1, the 90-second test. No, for this one, we're going to scroll down to this part of the site. No? Who is qualified? Take the 90-second test. Okay, this is very simple. It's a really simple and easy test, and it requires only that you be honest, most of all with yourself. Or if you're a parent, be honest with your children. We're going to show a 90-second video entitled Here's to the Crazy Ones. It's from Apple. The question is, if it resonates with you and makes something deep inside you nod in agreement because this is what you want for yourself, then congratulations. You belong. You should be a fellow. Okay? So with that said, I am going to play the video. I invite you to, it's only 60 seconds, right? Again, go back to your feelings. Be honest. Is this something that inspires you because tingin nyo kaya nyo or gusto nyo? Or is it something that's not you? Right? Okay. So, I'm gonna have to switch tabs and present a tab. Okay, so we're gonna share the video. I'm gonna play it starting.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
So I'm gonna let that settle for a few seconds. Ask yourself, is this you? Do you want to be one of these people? So if you found yourself nodding in agreement as you watched this video, whether you were physically nodding or something inside of you was nodding, you probably belong here. And the Young Fellows program will probably do you a lot of good. Let's move on to the second part of our agenda, our program goals. Why? And it ties directly to the video that you just saw. Okay? So that's the 90-second test. The Young Fellows program has two goals. Number one, we are here to help you and support you and initiate you and journey with you in this lifelong quest, which is to help you live your deepest truth and so fulfill your highest potential and your greatest promise. If you think about it, there's a little bit of a seesaw imagery there, right? Deepest truth allows you to live your highest potential. Conversely, if you live your mediocre truth, you will live your mediocre potential. And if you live your surface level truth, then you will reach very little of your potential. Let's link that back to the 60-second video about the crazy ones. Let me run through some names. Muhammad Ali, Pablo Picasso, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Albert Einstein. Let me add a few more names that you did not see in the video, but belong to the same category. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, and so on and so forth. The word that might be resonating in your head, that might be tempting you to say, hindi ako yan, is genius. Hindi naman ako henyo na pareho ng mga yan. But if you really reflect the way in Ignite and in the National Innovators Initiative, we have reflected on the lives of people who move the human race forward. As the video said, what defines them is not their genius. What defines them is that they live their deepest truths. Look at every one of those people. What if Gandhi said, ayoko, magiging lawyer na lang ako. That was his original profession. I don't want this cause that I feel called to. Would we have had Gandhi? What if Muhammad Ali said, I'm only going to be a boxer. I'm not going to stand up for the principles like not going to the Vietnam War because I do not believe in it. Would we have had a Muhammad Ali? What if Pablo Picasso said, I want to paint like the rest of them because my style is too weird. So it's about actually living your deepest truth. If you want to be an innovator, somebody who changes the world, somebody who, when Harvard looks at their application, says, this guy doesn't look like every other applicant here. Let's take a closer look at this guy, right? This is what the Young Fellows program will first, and this is our first goal, right? Because our goal ultimately is to graduate innovators who will make a difference in Filipino and global business and society. First of all, we have to ensure that you are people who will remain true to yourself, right? That's why this program is for 6 months, is for 12 months, because we need that runway, that time to be with you and to nurture this in you. Okay. The second goal is a byproduct of the first goal. In other words, if you achieve the first goal, you will achieve the second goal, which is to fast track you into an elite candidate for any college or career of your choosing, provided it fits you. Provided it fits you, right? So you can aspire to any college, any career of your choosing that fits you. And basically this program will fast track you into an elite candidate for that, right? In doing so, we will also be able to, we hope to, our goal is to maximize your financial rewards. Meaning, if you want to go to Oxford or MIT, those schools cost a lot of money. We will maximize your opportunities for scholarships, right? Because of you being such a unique candidate. This is, again, what the Young Fellows program aims to do, okay? So with that, what is our next goal? How are we gonna achieve these program goals, no? These two program goals? So we'll now jump into an overview of the program, the experience, and the timelines. For this, I'm gonna jump into what we call the Ignite Manifesto. It's on your screen, no? So our program really nurtures you into what we call genius, purpose, and service. If you put the acronyms together, it's GPS, right? So your life direction, your life's truths is a triangulation between your genius, your purpose, and your service. We have an app, we have a community of practice. If you sign up for the 6-month program or the 12-month program, we will guide you through it, through your GPS. Your GPS will then drive your mission, what problems you want to solve, right? So all those guys in the Here's to the Crazy Ones videos, they not only had their genius, their purpose, and their sense of service, they channeled it towards a specific mission that made the world a better place. We will help you find that mission. We will help you find collaborators in that mission. And finally, we will help you with the methodologies, agile problem solving, human-centered design thinking, creating feedback loops. In other words, the process and methodologies of innovation so that you can create the impact and continuously transcend the limits that you think you have, right? So this is what your whole Young Fellows Innovator-In-Residence program is going to be about. Think about that. The program is about being an innovator. It's about launching high-impact ventures, no? New products, services, models, campaigns, etc. Yes, a lot of it will be spent on that. But what will drive all of this is, again, the truth, your connection with the truth, with the deeper and deeper truths about who you are. No? So I'm just gonna, as you can see on my screen, we have a manifesto that we will share with you later on. No? I'm not gonna read everything, just GPS. Genius, okay, at Ignite, we know these to be true. First, that I am gifted with my own genius, which is unique, unrepeated, and unrepeatable for all time. I am the only one in the whole history of the universe who has this particular gift. We will help you find that. Purpose. Second, that my singular genius bears the thumbprint of who I am and why I am here. Genius points to purpose, purpose to genius. So we will help you find the pain that makes you care about something bigger than yourself. And finally, service. Third, that I can only give out of what I have been given. And what I have been given, I must give and live for others. Genius finds its fullness in service, a purpose bigger than self. So this Young Fellows program will really instill in you GPS, your individual personal GPS, which is your life's deepest truths, right? So that is the key to fulfilling the rest of this throughput. Finding your true mission, finding collaborators, being able to innovate, being able to impact, and being able to transcend, no? Continuously go past what you think you can do. So what is this program like? We mentioned, if you're following my screen, a 6-month track and a 12-month track. You're following my screen, you can see that they're exactly the same. It's just that the 12-month track gives you more time. We understand that high school students nowadays are very busy. So it just gives you more time to fulfill the track. So at the end of the 6 or 12 months, the highest point you can reach as a fellow is to graduate Summa, which is as a distinguished fellow. This is the highest designation amongst all fellows. That means we will personally write letters of recommendations, we meaning the senior fellows, so CEOs of big companies, people who've attended all these schools that you want to get into, we will personally write your recommendations because we would know you and we can vouch for you. And you will have personal access to this network of senior fellows. And you can put it in your resume, in your curriculum vitae, certified that you are a young fellow, distinguished young fellow. Okay? So the levels before that are levels 1 to 6. I will take you through it very quickly. This is again the program overview. So it starts with ground zero, day 1. So when you sign up, we will do this in cohorts, no? So between the first and second months, you will spend it on level 1, mapping your personal GPS. You will master your personal GPS, which is your genius, purpose, and service, and how to channel it into shared mission and collaboration as the springboard for lifelong innovation and impact. And you will be accompanied here you will do this via there's an app specifically for the Young Fellows app, for the Young Fellows program. No? So you will do it in an app. We will guide you. We will guide you not just through the app, but through weekly flights, if you're following my cursor. These are gatherings weekly via Zoom, which is we do our community of practice. It's peer-to-peer learning with and from each other. We will show you practical applications, how to apply everything that you're learning into live case studies, most of them be based on experience that we are taking from our communities. If you miss a weekly flight, the Zoom meetings, there will be postcards, no? That include the complete video of each week's sessions in case you miss it or you want to review it, no? So we guide you through that. There is the app, and later on I'll tell you about the media badges. So after you go through level 1, which is mapping your personal GPS, you will then go to level 2, which is you will map the zone of opportunity. Here you will practice human-centered design thinking, customer centricity, and applying empathy and compassion to business or to social innovations. Again, you will complete this via the app, the Young Fellows app, and you will be accompanied in weekly flights. By this time, you should have chosen where you want to innovate. The problem, in other words, that you want to solve. Innovation is simply a fancy word for creative problem solving. So from your mapping your personal GPS, you will be guided to pick a problem that you want to solve, that you will innovate around, right? Which then brings us to level 3, between months 3 to 6 to complete. You will map the zone of solutions. You will master and practice solutions architecturing, principles like objectives and key results, which is used in Google. You will master principles like minimum viable product and vision storytelling. Again, you will complete this via the Young Fellows app, and we will accompany you through the weekly flights. Which brings us to level 4, completed months 4 to 8. Again, these months are simply indicative. Some of you will be faster, some of you will be slower. Some of you will have more time, some of you will have less time. Level 4 is actually launching your high impact venture. You know, this again can be a new product, it can be a new service, a new solution, it can be a new business model, a new way of doing things. It can be a new nonprofit, a new advocacy, something again that speaks to who you are and what you care about in this world. You will do this guided by the step-by-step by the Young Fellows app, and again, accompanied by our weekly flights via Zoom. Now, at that point, when you are able to launch a high impact venture, you will then unlock opportunities for thought leadership and publications, right? So these are the media badges. Your ability to progress and complete levels 1 to 4 in the app and to complete the weekly flights will allow you to unlock media badges that will allow you to be published. So that when you go to apply to Harvard or Stanford or Cambridge or Oxford or MIT, you will be able to point to a published trail of thought leadership around the superpower 6. What are the superpower 6? These are the World Economic Forum's 6 most critical skills to lead high impact change. So you will be able to reflect and have thoughts published around things like ownership of outcomes and impact. You know, in schools, usually what you have ownership of is ownership of deliverables. Ownership of, I studied for the test, I did my homework, I passed this project. In the real world, none of those are good enough. What you must have ownership for is the outcomes and the impact. You will be able to talk intelligently about that because that's what we are doing in all these weeks. You will be able to talk about divergent to convergent thinking. Again, one of the superpower 6. How do you run a team and collaborate with a team where people have different perspectives but must agree to agree in order to move forward? You will be able to have thoughts on that, again, published. You will be able to have thoughts on empathy and compassion as applied to the world's biggest problems and what your experience has been on that. So thought leadership along all these lines. You will unlock media badges or media credentials. When you have published enough, you will then be able to unlock level 6, which is fellows will have speaker spotlights. We will train you and we will give you confidence to be able to do 5 to 7 minute TED-type talks on a topic of your own choosing. Maybe it's the innovation you're working on and why you care about it, right? We will train you and we will put the spotlight on you so that you can have TED-type talks. And those will be published again. So look at these, levels 3, 4, and 5. This is what will really distinguish you as a cut above the rest, right? Because when you apply to these top programs, right? If you have straight A's, top of the class, if you're captain of your football team and captain of the debate club, you are still a very ordinary candidate in some of these top universities. But how many of them will be able to say, hey, I've launched a high impact venture. I have a published trail of thought leadership. I have TED-style talks, and I graduated as a distinguished fellow in the National Innovators Initiative. This is what the program is all about. So again, these iconic experiences will be accompanying each fellow's journey and enable success as an innovator in residence. No? So if you're still watching my screen, there's been thousands of professionals. The programs that we are rolling out for the Young Fellows program are actually programs that we are adopting that we have ran in professional, corporate, some of the biggest corporations in the country. We also tried them in the college sphere. No? So there have been thousands of people who've gone through GPS, who've gone through um, the throughput of the Ignite methodologies in innovation, etc., etc. So you will be joining their ranks. Okay, let me now go back to, so I've just gone through segments 3, which is an overview of the program, the experience, and the timelines. No? I just want to show some of the, I talked about the app, right? So this is a sample of the app. So Launchpad, this is mapping zone of opportunity. It will guide you step by step, solo workouts, right? So that's the app. We have a dedicated app for our college students, and now we will have a dedicated app for our young fellows who are high school students. No, I talked about, if you remember, weekly flights. No, the Zoom gatherings weekly. So I just want to show you a little bit of this. These are postcards from our past gatherings, right? So from November 2021, October, all of those. So you can see we gather, and this is where you will learn. So we can accompany you. We will listen to live case studies from the community, and we will mentor you so that you can learn with and from each other about whatever it is you're working on, whatever it is you're stuck. That's what the weekly flights are all about. Now, we have the short film. We're going to go now to the segment where we're going to have a panel discussion. We're going to invite some people to join us and share their views on this, no? On the programs that, and the whole fellowship experience, no? I invite you to, I'm going to post the link on our chat box, or Gerald, if I could ask you to post the link, for the short film. In our chat box so people can follow. You can watch the short film. I think it's about a 10 to 20 minute film, 10 to 20 minutes, because we had a episode 1 and episode 2. You can also meet the characters, no? The various characters. Each have their own dedicated episode. You can watch them, whether they're corporate CEOs, fresh graduates, college students still, various professionals from all over. No? But we have some of them here, so I'd like to just call on them so that they can give a bit more color, no, to some of our stories here. So can we call on maybe Jet? We have Jet here. Gerald?
Yeah. Hi,
Yes.
everyone.
Okay, so Gerald is the one who is codenamed Ignite Admin. We talked about the program goals, no? Living your deepest truths in order to live your, to fulfill your highest potential and greatest promise. We talked about genius, purpose, service, GPS. We talked about innovation, methodologies, impact. I'll let you decide what you want to talk about and share with in your experience, while giving us also a sense of who you are and your background. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me just share my background first for everyone. So Andre mentioned that I started with Ignite, Ni2, straight out of college. So I completed my college back in 2019. So just before the pandemic happened, and I've been with Ignite since. I was a council president, and I was taking internal auditing. It's kind of like BS in accountancy. And everything changed when I started working with Ignite, because back in college, I used to think like, oh, I hate accounting. I'll be stuck in this industry forever, all my life. Like, I hate all these numbers. I started working with Ignite, and I worked on countless projects. Projects that at first did not make sense to me. A few projects where I was invited specifically because of my GPS. Um, yeah. So with that in mind, what I want to talk about is that whole shift. My skill set used to be all about accounting, uh, all about numbers. I used to be a math guy. And having worked with Ignite, having identified my GPS, um, I feel like I've transitioned to a far better role that has to do with product innovation.
Okay, so that's a big jump. Maybe give us a flavor by what you mean by product innovation, by giving us a sense of all the variety of things, Gerald, that you have launched in the last 2 years.
Okay. Um, there were quite a lot of apps, but let's talk about maybe Ni2. It's one of the apps that we've launched that I like the most. Um, in Ni2, I started actually working just as a project manager. I used to be coordinating with the stakeholders, to the developers, but my role shifted when I became more involved in product architecture, like working really deep into the project, like what types of features should be launching, what types of questions should we be asking in the app. My role shifted from just taga-coordinate lang to someone who's kind of like a product architect.
Okay, and how does that connect with your? You mentioned your GPS, Genius Purpose Service. Can you talk to us about how that has evolved and struck you as you started off as an accounting graduate? Well, tell us about your GPS.
Okay. Um, I I think I answered my GPS quite a long time ago now. But if I remember correctly, my genius is that I love solving problems. Like like if I were to describe myself, I'm a problem solver. My purpose has to do with helping people. Most especially my fellow youth. As I've mentioned, I've been a council president. I just enjoy working and helping people my
Uh,
age.
what particular pain of your fellow youth does most resonates with your sense of purpose?
Lack of opportunity, lack of job opportunities, lack of career opportunities or learning opportunities.
And why do you care about that? Why did you have a sense of purpose around that? You could have had a sense of purpose zeroing in on so many other pains. Why that in particular?
Um, I grew up in a fairly well-off family, but I've been with a few cousins who were not. I can see them suffering from life's challenges, and I think it's just unfair that I've been granted all these opportunities while so many people were not.
Okay, and so that's great. So what are your reflections on this corny sounding phrase, which is our goal number one in live your deepest truth and so fulfill your highest potential and greatest promise? Is that true, or is that some kind of corny statement, or how has that been true in your life?
I wouldn't say it's not true. Uh, I think, in fact, having worked on a well, we know this, the two of us. I started a new job recently, and it's nothing like I've been doing before. It's definitely not about innovation. It's purely just marketing, project management. And what I've realized is when I've contrasted the work that I do here now, the work that I do there now and the work that I've been doing with Ignite since, is that there we're all just about, oh, we have this product, sige, launch natin yan. What are its features? We should talk about that. But it never talks about what is that product all about. Um, like, how does it help people? That's one contrast that I've made. Uh, like in terms of my experience, having seen Ignite and that code. The other point that I'd like to make, which is far more related, sorry, is um, my college friends and I got bored one day and we decided to start an NGO, a nonprofit organization. And our most recent project has to do with uh, giving a career fair, a job fair for out of school youth in one barangay in Quezon City. At first, my friends were so hesitant to work on that project. It's too big for us. We're just a group of 8 people, and I I I think given my experience with Ignite, given how much I know this is my GPS, I I had to push my friends to work for us to work on it. I guess all I'm saying is that that code is no joke.
Okay, thank you so much, Jet. Maybe let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Si Ate Joanna naman, or Tita Joanna. Tita Joanna, maybe you can share with us your observations, whether they're your own personal experiences or the experiences you've encountered among our kabataan who've been in the NI2, the National Innovators, as innovators in residence now. What kind of how have you seen this to be true? Genius, purpose, service, the manifesto, that statement, living your deepest truths. Can you share with us some of your own experiences or some of the things that you've witnessed that bring more color and life to some of the things and the programs we've been talking about?
Hello everyone ulit. Hello everyone. I hope you're still there. Gising pa ba kayo? So, okay. So, Andre, before I talk about that, I just want to bring up one thing that's trending in TikTok. Para naman magising yung mga nandito. Guys, have you seen the hashtag trend na quiet quitting? Quiet quitting. So this is trending now in TikTok. In fact, I'm going to talk about it in my next video podcast because this resonates a lot with what we're doing here in Ignite. So quiet quitting, this can be at work, it can be sa family or what. No? It means that you're not going beyond what is asked of you or what you're paid for at work. Kumbaga, you're just a robot, right? You just go to work because you're paid. And in short, you're not happy with what you're doing. So in relation to the people who are the kids, the college students, and the young ones I was working with, mentoring, nurturing in the guild, no, by NI2.
Ano yung Guild by NI2?
Guild by NI2 kasi this was a program that we launched for college students to accelerate their career. Okay? Yeah. So this is pinaka heart and soul din niya for us to be able to help them figure out their GPS and allow it to manifest in their lives. And this is a pain actually of these college students, kaya lang medyo late na when they figured it out because they're already taking the course. No, they didn't have the chance like you do right now na papunta pa lang kayo sa college. Being able to identify where your truth is leading you in terms of what is it in me that's unique, that will point to the pain that I would want to solve later on, and the people that I want to serve will be very powerful for you to be able to choose the course that you will be taking up in college. You will be a step ahead. Like with me, Andre, nag-shift ako eh. So I applied sa BS Biology sa UP Manila. I applied sa UST MedTech. I applied sa LaSalle BS Biology. Dahil meron akong sinusundan. May mga magdodoktor na gusto ko samahan. So anyway, I shifted. I shifted and ended up taking up Bachelor of Science in Tourism in UP Diliman. So may shift and I realized too late, no? Mas maganda sana before pa, alam mo na where your heart is really. And these kids that we were able to build relationships with at the Guild by NI2, even so that it was quite too late for them to realize na baka marang mali yung course na nakuha ko. They were able to align what is in their heart with what they're doing because a GPS is magical, no? It will also help you also identify kung ano yung napupusuan mo dun sa ginagawa mo at gagawin mo while you're still searching for it. Because it's not forever constant, Andre, right? GPS is ever changing as well. As you grow, as you see the world, as you open up a lot of, as the world open up a lot of opportunities for you, your GPS also evolves. So nadidiscover mo yan. So they become self-aware. They discover the skills they have. Like for example, nasa marketing sila. Ang broad naman ng scope ng marketing. So they discover, okay, I want to be an influencer, for example. That's marketing. Or no, I want to do digital work. I want to design mga, ads, digital ad. Iba pa rin yun. So being able to identify that is very powerful for you to be able to wake up each day and do what you love so that you will, what? Have that success. Pero yung key to success ngayon is not driven just by money, which is of course will follow. It is driven by impact because now you're focused on the people that you would want to serve and the problems that they have. So,
I think relating it back to what Joanna was saying, if you remember that video, here's to the crazy ones. No? All of us seem so far away from an Einstein or a Muhammad Ali or a Pablo Picasso or a Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King. Or any of those guys, no. But we have to remember that they, at some point in their lives, started where we are now, right? They started thinking, hanggang dito lang ako. I'm nobody special. Until they discovered that, no, there is something special about me. And then it becomes a struggle. Do I stay true and nurture and have courage about what makes me special? That genius of mine, that purpose of mine, that sense of service? Or do I sell out? Remember, Picasso didn't need to paint like Picasso. He was too weird at that point. At that point in time in history, he could have said, no, why don't I just paint like Van Gogh or everybody else, right? I think that's the most vivid point here, is that if you're looking at the screen again, innovation, yes, it has a lot of methods. Just like Picasso and Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali and Einstein each had their own methods. But those methods that allow you to innovate and bring something, birth something unique into the world, they are a direct manifestation. They are directly driven by your sense of who you are. And if you start selling out to who you are because you want the trappings of success, you want the right college, you want the right course, even though it's not for you, it doesn't apply to your truth, then you will fall into what we call the success trap. The success trap is living by other people's standards, trappings of success. We want you to live for impact, which is success is about what I can accumulate for myself, including for my resume. Impact is what I can give of myself. And that's where you really need to understand genius, purpose, and service. You go back again to those, there were 18 human beings, 18 greats in that video that we saw. No? Here's to the crazy ones. Every one of them stayed true to themselves, and they were able to birth something for the world that lasts well beyond them. No? And they were able to transcend, to get beyond, to overcome limitations. No? That and this is what the fellowship really is all about. No? Joanna, you want to say something, and then we're going to go to Danny.
Yeah, what I would say is that once you have discovered how to connect with your GPS, there's no turning back. When you're making your decisions in life, when you're doing a lot, like right now, I'm doing a lot of startups, and hindi ka mapapalagay pag hindi aligned yung ginagawa mo sa GPS mo. You will always stop, talk to yourself, and ask yourself, is this my GPS telling me? Is this my GPS leading me? And I assure you, if you see this circle in front of you, this operating system in front of you, this is real, because I've gone through it a number of times already because of my age.
Maybe Joanna, we can say this is that even at your age, which will just bleep, right? Um, even at your age, you continue to grow and find
Exactly. Yeah.
a rich wellspring of growth and evolution from this genius purpose service mission collaboration innovation impact, this operating
Yes.
system that we have in front now. And how you wish you had started at their age.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
They're so lucky that this is being introduced to them right now, Andre.
Okay, thanks for that, Joanna.
Thank you.
Joanna. Okay, Danny, let's shift again to the other end of the spectrum in terms of age. What can you share about your own personal experiences, cuento, about some of the things we've talked about? Go ahead.
For me, I feel like what I learned most is when you find your inner truth, your deepest truth rather, is that you can never shy away from it. So starting with my background in college, like I was so lost when I started off. I took up speech language pathology, I took up psychology, and then shifted to business because I was never really sure of what I was doing. I was not failing at any of those courses. However, I felt like with the first two, there's something wrong. There's something missing. It just doesn't align with me. It takes more effort for me to be good at it. I'm not failing, but it's not second nature to me. Something is not right. And then when I decided to take a break from from school, I went into startup, did multiple worked in multiple departments. So I started with HR, then I did events, I did marketing, I did operations, and jumping from one department after the other. I when before I joined Ignite, it felt like I was failing at something. I thought I was failing because I needed to jump from one department to the next. Like I was losing my heart with what I was doing. But here in Ignite, I learned that my deepest truth is that it's not the department that I'm in love with, it's that I love learning the processes and the systems within the companies and learning to map it out in my head, see everything work. And it's just second nature to me how I can picture it in my head, how this department works this way and it would affect this department in that way, or maybe what you're working on affects this project, and it feels second nature. And what I learned is to be more objective looking at it. So before I used to think na, oh, maybe nawawalan ako ng gana in marketing because I'm not good at it, or because of this, that. Like I feel like I'm failing because I'm losing heart for this departments. But now I look at it as, okay, what are my strengths? What were my weaknesses? What can I work on? Why is it not working for me? So it's more objective in a way na I'm not hard on myself because I know my truth. So an example is the last project I worked with Andre and Gerald and Isa. It was product development. It was very hard. I was pushed to my limits. Product development is exciting, really. There are lots of things you learn. You are challenged every way possible. But then I started thinking, is this really something that I mean, I could stay and keep doing it. I could still do product development, but I know in my heart that something is not right. And the more that I think about it is that my inner truth isn't aligned with product development as much as I'm excited about it. It's more of the process that I love developing. It's more of knowing my truth enough to say, okay, this is not something I want to pursue because I know something out there is better for me, or it's more aligned with my inner truth. So I can step away from that and work on what I feel like is my inner truth or my deepest truth. So that's what I learned.
Okay, thank you for that, Danny. Joanna, thanks for sharing. At this point, I want to call up, I don't know if she's still here, but the president of CAP, who was joining us from the UK. I thought I saw a message a while ago that
Yeah.
she had to leave, no? See, Dominique had to leave. No? It's a good thing she was able to say hi. So if you're following my screen, I just want to say a word or two about our partnership with CAMP. No, CAMP again is the College Admissions Mentors for Peers in the Philippines. It was started by one of the founders is Ni2 Ferriol, who now works in Bain and Company and is a senior fellow. One of our senior fellows, let me see, there she is, no? Ni2 Ferriol, she went to Harvard and then Harvard College and Harvard Business School, no? But she started CAMP for students like you who are about to finish college and about to enter the process of applying to college, choosing careers, choosing courses. Through the years, they have helped. I'm scrolling through their site. No, there's our program there. Through the years, they have helped students get into some of the most prestigious universities all over the world. No, mentoring them with essays, how to write their essays, how to do their interviews, how to where to get recommendations, etc. So that's through a mentorship program. And this is a very exciting partnership because we don't do this in the Fellows program. What we do is, so we give you the story. We give you the substance of what you've done with your life, which is in particular launched high impact innovations. We give you the substance of being self-reflective as to why you chose those innovations, no? So that you can do well in your interviews. And it's the CAMP program. We can pass you on to the CAMP program then, so that they can coach you, they can mentor you on how to get into specific programs. And beyond get admissions is to help you also get scholarships. No, that's another one. No, of course, if you are the kind of applicant into, let's say, Harvard or MIT, who has launched a high impact venture, you will be worth more to that school and you will be more attractive to that school than a student who was not. And so who are they going to give scholarships to? So this is the whole idea with the Young Fellows program. Again, going back to, so I just, I'm speaking on behalf of our partner because she had to go. Okay. So we are now finished, therefore, with the fourth aspect, item in our agenda, which is the panel views. I hope you enjoyed hearing from the other voices. If you want to hear more voices, Gerald will again post in the chat box where you can watch short films that we have, the page where you can find these short films and get a lot more voices about the impact of the Fellows experience. At this point, we're going to start wrapping up, no? And we're going to go back again to the 90-second test. This time, 2.0. Okay, where is that? The 90-second test again, that's on your screen. Again, we're going to show you this video. Again, the question this time is, number one, is this me? Do I sincerely have it in me to aspire to be a person like this, who contributes in this way to humanity? And then the second question is, do I want help in becoming that person, in the lifelong journey of becoming that person, right? Because if your answer to these two questions is yes and yes, then you would be a very good candidate indeed for the Young Fellows Innovator-In-Residence program. Because our goals, again, in this program are number one, to help you live your deepest truth so that you can then fulfill your highest potential and greatest promise. Remember that seesaw. That's why we need 6 to 12 months with you, okay? That's why we developed a program with an app, with a weekly community of practice via Zoom that really holds your hands and takes you through this journey of being a crazy one. So at this point, I will replay this video and I will invite you to take the 90-second test again, asking yourself these two questions. Is this me? And do I want help and support of a community in this lifelong journey of being one of the crazy ones?
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Sorry, if you can hear me. So there is a twist to this second version of the 90-second test. We're going to play a second video, and you're going to think it's like the first one. But there's a twist. This one brings it home, closer to home. Okay, so let me play it. Hold on.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers. And here's to every one of us here today. Every day in Manila, we wake up to a lab full of the world's most wicked problems. So wicked, they are something like Manila's greater Silicon Valley. So wicked, they awaken a torrent of potential innovations, immortality projects, transcendent ventures, and maybe even the first of many Filipino unicorns, billion-dollar Filipino endeavors that truly impact humanity and matter on a global scale. We in Manila have a sacred privilege being so up close and personal to some of the world's most pressing problems, and thus to a universe of innovations. How many of us here today, here beside us now, are crazy enough to live our lives in ways that truly push our human race, not just our own selfish ambitions? Here indeed is to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers. Because the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. In Ignite, we will.
Okay, so let me just get back to our window. Okay, so that's the second 90-second test. What's next for us is how you get started. Assuming you want to be part of this program, the Young Fellows program, I'm going to take you now through the very short steps of how to get started. Okay, everyone still with me? We're coming up to the tail end. Should be a few more minutes. Okay, here are some program highlights, by the way. Okay, so here's how you get started. First, you need to reserve your seat. Slots are limited, so we will do this on a first come, first served basis. This is again, you will follow Gerald, if we could post this link so that they know where they can reserve their seats. So this is the site you've been at, restart.ph/fellows. You just scroll down, look for the orange button, reserve my seat. If you want to be reminded of the video, just do the who is qualified. The test is there. Okay, to reserve your seat, very simple. You fill up the reservation form right there, and then you select whether you are applying as a fellow, which means your family will pay the tuition fee, or whether you're applying as a scholar, which means you will participate, because as a scholar, which means you will get a subsidy, a full subsidy, right? Tuition fees must be paid. There's a 6-month fellowship. There's a 12-month fellowship. Scholarships are available for underprivileged students only, and you will be required to submit proof of financial need if you apply as an Ni2 scholar. Okay? The costs are published there. Basically, they are about the amount of a round-trip business class ticket to Europe. The scholarships are available. Basically, every paying fellow funds 2 scholars, right? And we take care of the rest. So when you click that submit, you will be brought to a form. It's a very quick 3-step form, and that's where you can complete. That's the admissions form, and you will get your directions there as to how to get started on your cohort. So that's how to get started. That brings us to the end of our session. At this point, we're 13 minutes past the 1 hour. So I apologize for keeping you over time. There were a lot of stories to be told. So at this point, I'd love to hear any questions or comments, suggestions, clarifications that we might have from our attendees today. So the floor is now open.
Baka nahihiya sila, Andre. For those who don't want to switch on their mic, you can just type in the chat box your questions, and then we can ask Andre to answer them. Sa chat box lang pa din. Or you can raise your hand so that we can call you, and you can unmute your mic.
Yeah, no, please feel free to throw it in your chat box. Joanna, Danny, and Jeff, you could just help me monitor the chat box for any questions or comments. Meanwhile, I'm scrolling through our senior fellows and advisory board for the fellows program. So these are some of the people who will. Okay, so we have questions coming in.
Yeah, we do. From Laya, from Laya Tayaw. Hello po. Until when can we reserve a slot? Thank you.
Well, it's like I said, it's first come, first served, no? So we have what we call rolling admissions. So we start cohorts and get people off waiting lists depending on the number of people in the waiting list, no? So there's no time naman, but it's first come, first served, and we start cohorts. Cohorts meaning you come in as a batch. We start cohorts, let's say every few months, no? So the point here is if you want to participate, the sooner you reserve, the better. In any case, when you've reserved your slot and for whatever reason you have to defer, we will give you that deferral. We will allow you that deferral. But best to reserve your slots as soon as possible.
And at the same time, Andre, we will also inform them, right? if ever that slot is already taken. You won't just like,
Yes, yes.
yeah, of course.
They follow the reservation
Yeah.
process. Everything is automated. And then they will receive a notification from us as to when they can get started. And if they need a deferral, at least they already have that reserve guaranteed slot. We can defer it to a timing where it's better for them.
Okay. So from Elizabeth Gregorio, what month does the program start?
So I think I answered that in the first question. We start programs let's say every 2 months, no? So the next program might start in October, no, of this year. So we will fill slots for the October cohort on a first come first served basis.
Okay.
After October, it will probably be next year, just because we're hey, by the way, so August 27 na, si Jose Marie Chan will be coming soon in a few more days. So what that
Sumisilip na nga eh.
is basically in the Ignite universe, in the National Innovators Initiative, we do not run programs from December, January, and January. So after October, the next cohort we will start will probably be in February already, unless there is some unusual overflow of in the wait list. No.
Okay.
I know there's a couple of more questions that come in. Joanna, if you could tee that up for us. I just want to talk about Audrey Pe, who is in our advisory board and as a senior fellow as well. She's being flashed on screen right now. She's a great example of somebody who started a high impact venture. She founded Women in Tech, or We Tech, before she applied to Stanford University. She's now class of 2025. So by the time she applied to Stanford, she wasn't just the ordinary run-of-the-mill Stanford candidate who had great grades, who had great extracurriculars. On top of that, she was able to show that she had already started a high-impact venture. So Audrey is one of our senior fellows and part of our advisory board. What's our next question, Joanna?
From Kyle Abello, is there some kind of application form we need to accomplish?
Yes, when you submit the reservation form, it will give you a link to the application form. It's a fairly short application form, really one question, right? So that's the process. And you will find all the directions you will need in that application form. That application form is called the admissions form. And you will get the link to that when you, if you watch my screen again, when you click reserve my seat, when you fill in these blanks and you click submit, you will be given the application form. Thank you for that question, Kyle. Other questions?
Okay. Next one from Elisha, Austria. How much of the program can affect the academic school year of a student, since from how I understand it, in a way, it is a quasi-school?
Okay, that's a great question. Let me see if I can bring up something, a visual here. And I'll be looking at my screen. So again, we make you choose between a 6-month or a 12-month fellowship. The 6 months or 12 months is really there to give you enough runway, no? So that if you're busy, then do the 12 months because you have more time to complete the program. So if you notice, we proposed this program for 13 to 18-year-olds. In other words, primarily 9th graders through 12th graders. If you're a 9th grader or a 10th grader, which is, we highly encourage you to get started earlier on this now. Because imagine by the time you get to applying to college, you would already have launched maybe several high impact ventures already. And you're much more practiced already and really a master. You have so much more published thought leadership, etc. No? But my point is, you're less busy as a 9th grader, as a 10th grader, even as an 11th grader. No? So while it's still recommended for 12th graders, 12th grade is a very busy time of life. No? So that's probably, if you're a 12th grader, you might want to take for sure the 12-month program, because this program is not, while, for example, if we start the October cohort, you are self-paced. People will not, if there are 100 young fellows in the October cohort, those 100 young fellows will not all go. This is not like school where we all go at the same time. We all start at the same time if you're in the same cohort, but somebody in that cohort, maybe 5 of them might finish it in 3 months. Another 20 of them might take 5 months. Another 40 of them might take 8 months. And the rest of them might take the full 12 months. That's because it's self-paced. That's why there is an app. And that's why there is the weekly community of practice via Zoom. You can just attend as many or as little of the Zoom communities of practice as your schedule allows. No? And if you miss that, there are postcards, again, which are the full video archive of whatever sessions you miss so that you can pick up the learnings from there. But the learnings are not lessons like in school. The learnings are really case studies from the community where we mentor them in wherever they're stuck so that people can get a better sense of how do you apply human-centered design thinking, which is in the app. How do you resolve this question in the app that you get stuck on? So these are some of the things. It's really self-paced. No? So I hope that answers the question. And if I haven't, turn on your mic, ask me follow-up questions, or just throw it into the chat box. Yes, next question.
I think that's about it. They said thank you already.
Okay, so nobody else? Again, I'd like to also plug camp. I'm gonna put the camp link, Facebook link. You should look them up. College Admissions Mentors for Peers in the Philippines. I should mention that while we talk a lot about, Harvard or MIT or Oxford, some of the world's most prestigious colleges, no? This will also be helpful if you're looking at applying to local universities. How? Not just in getting admitted to them, but in getting full scholarships. No? Because again, this will distinguish you as a cut above the normal candidate. No? So that's another reason to join as a young fellow. If there are no other questions, I am going to take the liberty of closing our open house and info session by, on behalf of Joanna, Danny, Gerald, and our whole Ignite and National Innovators Initiative community, I would like to say thank you to everyone, to our partners in camp, and to everyone, all our high schoolers and their parents who joined us this afternoon. Also in the chat box, I will post where you can ask questions, not via email. I'm happy to answer questions. It's already posted there. So if you want to reach out, go ahead and do that. And again, call to action. Next steps is go click on that orange button, reservation form. No? Reserve my seat. On that note, I will close with our Ni2 anthem. Okay? So this is a pretty nice song. I hope you enjoy it. Let me figure out where it is.
So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Well, Andreas, I hope that you had a lot to learn in this session, and we hope to see you. We hope you sign up. So there you go.
Okay, so
Ikaw na lang kumanta, Andre.
maaga pa. Okay, so this is our Ni2. Just want to give credit. Called Iba ang Pinoy. It's a song, it's a campaign, and it's a movement that celebrates the spirit of the Filipino and the innovator spirit in the Filipino. Iba ang tatag, iba dumiskarte, iba mag-alaga, iba ka talaga Pinoy. It was created by our friends in Condura and the Concepcion Industrial Corporation. Here it is. Enjoy it.
Sa iyong isip at iyong galing, kahit saan dalhin, humahanga ang kahit sino. Iba tayo, iba ang Pilipino.
Sagana sa pag-asa, nasa iyo'y mag-aangat. Walang aatras ang hirap, makamit lang ang pangarap.
Kasi yan tayo, yan ang Pilipino. Nakakabilib talaga, lahing mapanlikha. Lakas tibay, galing mo, sa puso mo'y dumadaloy. Ibang-iba tayo, iba talagang Pinoy. Di basta bumibitiw, paulit-ulit mang mabigo. Pag nadapa, tumatayo muli. Iba tayo, di susuko. Umaagos ang pag-asa sa iyong mata, dugo. Kabutan ang pag-ibig sa iyong ngiti. Walang islang maatrasan ang lahi mong malaman. Kasi yan tayo, yan ang Pilipino. Nakakabilib talaga, lahing mapanlikha. Lakas tibay, galing mo, sa puso mo'y dumadaloy. Ibang-iba tayo, kasi yan tayo, yan Pilipino. Nakakabilib talaga, lahing mapanlikha. Lakas tibay, galing mo, sa puso mo'y dumadaloy. Ibang-iba tayo, iba talagang Pinoy.
Iba talagang Pinoy.
Iba talagang Pinoy.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll be around for a little bit longer if anyone wants to chat us up. Joanna, thank you. Thank you to everybody. Have a good, enjoy your weekends. Hope you enjoyed that song. Ano, kakanta na tayo, Joanna?
Ko una. Ano ba yun? Last Saturday pala, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, thanks to everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
People here I noticed who came in for first in, last out.
Oo nga.
So we're di ba ano yun? Is that an approved accounting principle, Jet?
LIFO, FIFO.
Hello. First in, last
Hello
out.
po.
Hi, Elisha.
Hi po.
Yeah.
Pwede pong mag-ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
It is okay to reserve early na po, like right now?
Yeah. Huli ka na, Elisha, pumapasok na mga reservations niya.
I tried po, pero like when I click submit, it's only prompted na parang there's a green bar below the ano po.
Technical help, Jet.
Could you send me a screenshot through this email?
Mm,
There you go.
okay.
Elisha, no? I'm gonna check.
Kahit Ellie na lang po.
Ellie.
Elisha, I can tell you that your registration has come in already
Oh, okay po. Sige po.
at 3:55 p.m., 5 minutes ago. So sorry about that. There's something wrong on the front end that is not appearing. But what you should do is check your email.
Email.
Okay po.
Or the spam box. So the links should be there. So good thing you brought that up. Guys, we can stop recording already so that the video library isn't too long.
Yeah.